While there's certainly some flaws and some bits that could have been improved, Game Freak has finally set the bar at least a little bit higher for themselves, and I hope with the reception the game has been receiving, it'll only get better from here. Haha, yeah. Well, we saw, and what did we get? I feel like the state of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is anything but surprising, really. We watched a remake of Diamond and Pearl get sent away while Game Freak pursued an already massive production of Legends Arceus. And only 2 months after the release date, 2 mainline entries were revealed and slated for the exact same year. But despite all the terrible aspects that accompany these games hand in hand, I couldn't help but see a little bit of good in them. Why? Because I'm a goddamn Pokemon fan. I like the silly creatures, and even the horrifying ones. And the core battling system has always been fun. But before I can even say what's good, there's a lot to get through. Let's start out with the obvious. This game, released running terribly, is filled with a myriad of glitches, and the graphics do not look especially good, even at a distance. But yippee! Sold 10 million copies in the first 3 days. All this is playable, sure, but when you have Mario Odyssey, Zelda, Nier Automata performing consistently on the Switch, the multi-billion-dollar franchise doesn't really have a good excuse. Instead, they opt to rush out games so they can sell their plushies and trading cards. Nintendo themselves have announced that there will be improvements in the future, and it'll probably steady out over time. Regardless, it still sucks to see just how poor the initial launch was. Also a little bit funny. So what about in terms of actual gameplay, story, etc.? Is there anything of value in Pokemon's first mainline series step into the open world? I mean, it's alright. First glaring issue is the step down in terms of capturing Pokemon. Legends Arceus gave a quick and fun way to optimize throwing balls and completing the decks. The most tedious and arduous part about any mainline entry finally felt streamlined and easier to accomplish. In classic Pokemon fashion though, they swiped that out and put regular battles back in. Luckily they're still paced out decently quick, but it's already bogged down from that great formula they had. At the very least, navigating around Pokespain, that's what I'm calling it, this region is literally just Spain, is relatively easy thanks to your new Monster Bike. Well, after you unlock the abilities that allow you to navigate in the first place. Yeah, rather than giving the players the tools they need right off the bat, you have to slowly unlock them, like surfing, climbing, and even going fast. Believe it or not, a lot of Scarlet and Violet relies on you not being able to go wherever you want. Higher level Pokemon are locked further up on the map, so the player can have a sense of progression making their way around Pokespain. So in turn, the game isn't really fully open world, it's kind of just progressing through pseudo-open areas like in Legends Arceus, under the guise that you can go wherever you want. The places you can reach are eventually blocked off by the bad guy team of the week to make sure you can't progress too quickly. I initially brushed it off, but there is one issue that I cannot forgive this design for. This might take a second to explain. When I first bought Violet, I saw that they had this badass looking fire-type Pokemon that resembled a Mega Man boss, and I thought, wow, cool, I want that. Not too far in, I found his pre-evolution on a route and caught it. So I progressed some more, using it, and got curious on how to evolve it. Turns out, I needed to go to this town on the other side of the map to get a quest from a lady who would give me an evolution item. So I turned around and went all the way back, since I wanted to evolve my guy before getting too far in. Okay, whatever. I fight through some more Pokemon, a little more story, and I reach the town. The quest is simple. Get 10 drops from these ghost Pokemon called Sinistea. I look up where they spawn, and it turns out they only appear in 2 places. By the town where I'm at, and in the corner of this area, guess where? On the other side of the map. Now, this is no big deal. I can just look around where I already am and find some. But the one place they do spawn has an extremely low chance for them to appear. I try and sit there a bit and grind it out, and nothing. No spawns. Alright, I'll trek back to the other side and try over there. I can thankfully fast travel, which makes it no big deal. Until I reach my destination, only to find out it's surrounded by cliffs with a cave entrance I cannot jump up to. I need a jump power-up on my monster bike to reach this area where they can actually spawn normally. Okay! Looks like I need to fight some more bosses and progress the story again. Fine. I've already taken down 2 of them. What's one more? I use a specific game-breaking Pokemon move that lets me destroy the 3rd boss as I'm getting fed up. But guess what? I do not unlock the jump power. I get the glide power. I am getting desperate. I go to one more boss, salted to death, and finally obtain the high jump. And there they are. So, in total, how long did this all take? 4.5 hours. But this guy looks awesome, right? Right? Well, navigating the region is a little hectic, but surely this story is decent with some nice presentation. What? Why aren't they talking? Okay. The plot this time around isn't actually too bad, alongside the characters. It's just, Game Freak seems to want to up the quality with their stories in every regard, aside from adding voice acting, to their $60 game. If they want to put in these nicely animated cutscenes, then proceed to have all the characters mouth out to silence, it's pretty jarring. All that being said, I love the cast this time around. The world of Scarlet and Violet presents some interesting scenarios, and it loves to humanize its characters. Team Star's Villain of the Week felt a little bland to the criminals of yesteryear, but I can understand after 25 years why they would want to try something new. Your rival Nemona is literally just Goku from Dragon Ball Z turned into a Pokemon trainer, and they like to be self-aware with some of her writing at times, which was pretty funny. The gym leaders have a good amount of personality. I still think Black and White beats them out in terms of overall significance, but they're a fun time. Arvin's story was a little one-note, but very sweet. It really exemplifies the relationship between people and Pokemon that's not addressed that much outside of the anime. Overall, not a bad job. Just really wish they made sounds. Anyways, back into the pits. Let's talk battles and the new gimmick this time around. Terrestrializing. Gigantamaxing kaiju battles are no more, and now Pokemon get big rocks on their heads. Aside from looking really stupid, the gameplay changes are relatively interesting. Terrestrialization boosts the types of Pokemon and their power. The interesting part is the ability to switch out certain types for an advantage in battle, meaning you can change out water to electric or normal to bug. It's fun to experiment with and allows for some unique stack-ups. Style-wise, it's still pretty bland and makes me wish they'd bring back Mega Evolutions, because they were so fucking cool. Riding Mega Rayquaza into space to smash a meteor and fight Deoxys has not been one-upped yet, and it makes me kinda sad. Ultimately, I can't say my expectations were met in a multitude of ways. This is a half-baked open world full of technical errors, poor graphical fidelity, and underdeveloped presentation. You can tell how much was pushed out to meet deadlines.
Huh?
But shit, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a shred of passion put into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There were so many little moments both in the story and out that gave me a sweet reminder of what kind of series this is and can be. It explains why despite everything, there's still an absolutely massive audience for Pokemon. Millions of people have grown up with this series. Whether it be a Game Boy or Nintendo Switch, no one forgets their first journey. It's a multi-generational experience connecting countless people across the globe. It's that big. That's why it's such a bummer to see how the series is being churned out, and when a slight sign of improvement peeks its head out, it gets taken out back and shot. I can't say if the Pokemon Company is really going to learn from its mistakes, but if they do, I will eat my words. With all that being said, this was still better than Sword and Shield.